1917 was my favorite movie of last year.
If you fail, it will be a massacre.
Let's talk about this for a minute.
Why?
The movie is directed by Sam Mendes, who also directed Skyfall, and it tells the story of two World War I English soldiers who are tasked with traveling across no man's land to deliver a message to another general to call off an attack because he thinks that he has the Germans on the run, when in reality, he is falling into a trap. And the stakes are raised by the fact that one of the two soldiers that we follow has a brother in the division that is going to be going into the trap. So the stakes are high right out the gate. The movie does a great job of being historically accurate and depicting what World War I might have actually been like. The visuals are just breathtaking. It's shot to look like one take for a majority of the film. There is one obvious cut and then some masked covered cuts, but for the most part the movie is intended to look like one long continuous shot. And just the cinematography, the set deck, set design, just everything just looks incredible, historically accurate, visually appealing. It's fantastic. It's really a treat. If you're into history and you're into World War dramas or World War action films, more or less, I think that you'll be extremely engaged and extremely impressed by the accuracy and quality that is on display in this film. The performances are top-notch. I believe every minute of every performance in the film, you can really see the sadness in people's faces when something sad happens. You can see the tension in their face when things are getting tense. And even when there's moments of levity, they're still behaving appropriately. My biggest compliment I can give this movie is that the pacing is perfect. There is never a dull moment, and when the movie slows down, it's only slowing down to give you a breath, to let you collect your thoughts, to think about what's just happened, and then you're right back into it. The pacing is phenomenal. I think pacing is kind of an underrated thing in film. I mean, for general audiences probably. I'd probably be preaching to the choir if I went to a bunch of other film buffs, and I was like, you know what's great, guys? Pacing's really important. But, when I watch, more casual reviews or I talk to movies with people who maybe aren't as into film, pacing is not something, you're never like at the bar like, yo, did you see the new Avengers? I don't know what this voice is. You see the new Avengers? Yeah. What'd you think of the pacing? Nobody says that. But I think pacing is extremely important, which isn't a controversial opinion. Just to reiterate that, I'm not sitting here going like, I'll say it, guys. I'll be the one to say it. Pacing's important. I'm just... The pacing's just perfect. The movie flows wonderfully. It is both the fastest... I think it's just under 2 hours. It's the fastest just under 2 hours movie you'll ever see, but like a minute can feel like an hour because it's so tense. It's just crafted so perfectly. The score, also perfect. That and the way that things are shot, and that's the crazy thing, right? It's all in one take, so it's all one shot, and then the camera is still somehow able to be in the exact right spot so that you're not seeing something, or you're seeing just enough of something so that tension's building, and you're like, oh my god, and then the music's, kicking in, and it's both beautiful, but also complementing what the camera's picking up and what the characters are going through, so that suspense just keeps on building and building and building until finally... release. Okay, it was nothing. Or, oh my god, shit's going crazy. So yeah, I mean, what else do I say? Like, the direction's on point, the camera work's fantastic, the performances are believable and well done, the score, just mwah, just beauty, just straight beauty. It's music. The historical accuracy is a bonus. It's just really good, man. It's a really good movie. There's a moment I want to talk about in particular where a character is stabbed and they begin to bleed out. And you see the color leave his body. And the conversation that the characters have, it pulls on your heartstrings, to put it lightly. And then you're right back into it. This job still has to be done. These characters still have to complete this mission. And they have to move on, which makes it even more gut-wrenching. There's another scene, and I don't want to spoil every, scene. I don't want to go through the whole movie beat by beat and just tell you what happens, but there's another scene where a character is riding in the back of a truck with an unfamiliar platoon or squadron. And the way they communicate, the way they talk, and the way the scene is shot, you're just taking all this information and you're feeling things like sadness for this one character that you've been with this time, but then you're also getting these like hints and little feelings of like, oh, like these are human beings still, and you start to feel some levity and you start to feel good because these people are still able to joke in a time like this, and there's some brothership going on there, and that feeling's kind of nice. And then it really kind of just hammers home this kind of anti-war message about what war does to people and how it tears people apart and how it rips families apart, which isn't hammered over your head. Like it's not like it's like war is bad. You just, that's kind of the feeling you come away with after watching this movie. Anything that's in a good war movie in regards to how a person emotionally evolves is in there. It honors the troops that served well. It's a very respectful film. Seriously, like I recommend this to anybody, even if you have a hard time stomaching intense stuff. I do think that this kind of movie is important to see so you can see what these people went through. The dialogue ranges from being, brutally honest, and it kind of feels like a gut punch when these brutally honest lines are delivered. And then there's moments where it's kind of funny and there's levity, like I was saying earlier in the truck, for instance. And the conversations just feel real. It's very well written. And, I give a lot of credit to the writers and to Sam Mendes for being able to craft these fantastic characters in what is real time. It's a masterpiece. It really is. I highly recommend watching 1917. I got a little bit excited talking about it. I hope I'm going to be able to edit something sensical through this. I'm going to be cutting out a huge portion of this. I'll leave this chunk in though, but there's going to be a huge chunk cut out where I was just like, okay, and like the way that this thing complements this, trying not to spoil anything, but like I just caught myself and I was like, wow, I went way off my notes there and I was just verbal diarrhea. I just got a little bit too amped up. But yeah, 1917 is an amazing movie. How do you even rate a movie this good? Well, we'll slide her a nice 9.5 out of 10. It's near perfection.